Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the difference between void and void star. Now, at first glance, this might seem like a pretty self-explanatory type of thing we have going, but it's a little bit more complex than what may be apparent. Void is not a type. Void is simply a declaration that nothing will be returned from a function. For example, let me demonstrate this by creating a function. Whoops. Alright, now this function includes both void and void star, not to an integer, let's say to an x. Now, by stating void before the function, we're simply claiming that nothing will be returned from this function by return 1. This will lead to a compiler error because our function is not expecting anything in return. However, as an argument to this function, we see a pointer to a type void. This can be interpreted as a pointer to nothing, but when you see void star, it has a little bit different meaning than what you might expect. Void star is simply a pointer to anything. It's a generic pointer type. It's basically just a pointer to anything. You can pass in a pointer to a float, you can pass in a pointer to an integer, a character, a byte, whatever. Any data type. For example, let's declare an integer x equals 5. My func, the address of x, and this is the same as if you created a pointer and passed it in. It's just, you guys should know this already. So we're passing in the address of x. This will compile fine. So will this. And so will this, and so on. You get the idea. You can pass in the address of any data type into this function, but with this luxury also comes a few problems. Let's see why. Wait, let me first prove to you guys that this will actually compile without any problems, as you can see here. But let's say you wanted to print the value of this integer that we passed in, so you guys would be screaming out, let's just dereference it. Dereference x, right? That would be correct if we declared a type over here, but if we try to compile it, you'll see is not a pointer to type object. This basically means that a type void star can never ever be dereferenced. On some compilers it will, but for technicality's sake we'll say it can never be dereferenced. But you may be asking why. By stating the data type here, you are telling the compiler to put aside 4 bytes. It's pointing to a value that is stored in memory of 4 bytes. So it knows that it's pointing to an object that's 4 bytes big. But by stating void, it does not know its size, so it doesn't know how many. It knows the beginning address, but it doesn't know how many. Let's draw this in memory. Let's say, get out my pencil tool. Let's say you didn't indeed pass in an integer star into the myfunc. This is the myfunc parameter. Forgive me, I'm not very good on the mouse. If you pass this in, it knows that x, it's pointing to a place in memory. It's pointing to here, the beginning of this integer. Now what's inside here is actually 5, but it's, as we see over here, it's 5 over here. It's 4 bytes wide, because an integer obviously is 4 bytes on most compilers. well, most competent compilers anyway. So it's pointing to the beginning of this 4-byte block of memory. But so when you dereference it, it knows to look here, go along 4 bytes, and get the value. But if you pass in void star x, let's say this is x over here with the value 5 again, it knows the beginning, but it does not know how wide it is. It doesn't know how many adjacent bit patterns to go and fetch, so it will not be able to get the value without knowing its size. By using a generic pointer, you cannot find out, the compiler cannot find out the size of the value you're passing in. So I ask you, as a challenge, what can we do to this piece of code to be able to dereference any type that is passed in to this function, be it a character, be it a float, be it an integer, be it a double. Actually, doubles are a bit tricky. Yeah, anyway, I'll leave it to you guys as a challenge to try and figure out how this can be accomplished using these generic pointers, because they can be very useful, and you will see them a lot. You will see them a lot when during your journeys of C, C++. They're used both widely in C and C++, and possibly Java. But yeah. So given everything I've taught you, given this whole generic pointer and return types of void, I leave it to you guys as a challenge to try and figure out how we can dereference any type that's passed in over here. We'll see if we get any responses, and I will, if I'm bothered, I guess I'll post another video showing you the solution. But it's better for you guys to find the solution. You'll learn better that way. You know, you plant a seed of knowledge, and it grows into a tree, so they say. So try and figure it out, guys. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what you guys can come up with.